Hi everybody, AstroTibs here. I'm making a video to celebrate the release of version 1.1 of my Village Names mod. And I'm going to do so by showing you all the features that are available in the mod. So what the Village Names mod does is to actually assign names to villages and villagers. So I'm going to cover what version 1.0 did with the mod and what is new in version 1.1. So first things first, every village that generates will now generate with a sign. This is the same as version 1. So in this case, the town's name is Myvamla. So the name is randomly cobbled together from a series of syllables. So what's new to version 1.1 is that if you have a well that is not specifically made out of cobblestone, then the well will still be decorated with the sign. In addition, just like in version 1, you will by default get well slabs around the outside of the rim of the well, such that if you and villagers fall into the water, you can easily get out without having to actually break the rim of the well. So essentially, that's everything that this mod was meant to do straight off the bat. But I decided then to add more features when I was originally making this mod. So the next thing that you'll see is that you can actually talk to villagers and they will have a name randomly generated. So this applies to every villager that you run into, no matter what the profession. So already I'm starting to get together. This guy's name's Mucus. Okay, great. So the other major thing that you could do in version 1 of the mod was that if you were to right-click a villager... Okay, so by the way, I'm doing this on version 1.12 of Forge because it's brand new released and all the features are the same between versions. So if you were to right-click one of these villagers with a book, it will actually name the town into the book and tell you the location and the population and the radius. And this is as of when you decided to actually create this book. So if the population changes, the contents of this book will not change. Notice that there is no author to this book because this character doesn't yet have a name. So I'll talk to him, and now Derivima is this person's name. So if I were to make another book, it is by Derivima. See, right there. That is just about everything that there was in version 1 of the mod. Actually, I'll show you the one final thing that I can think of. If I were to take 6 gold ingots in an unshaped recipe, I can get Lunarin style gold brick, which is just a new decorative block. It functions very similarly to regular gold brick. It's otherwise not, the whole reason that this exists is that I didn't know how to do Java at all, so I had to go through a lot of tutorials to learn how to make this mod, and they all asked me to make a block, and I thought, well, I'll do it just to find out if I can do it. This, of course, can be broken right back up into the 6 ingots that you put in. So that's everything that was in version 1 of the mod. Signs and rims on the well can be deactivated in the configs. In addition, in the original version of the mod, when you produced a book, it would pop out of the villager, and now by default it pops directly into your inventory, although you can change that in the configs. Look at these guys admiring my obelisk. So what's new in version 1.1? Well, first of all, there's an option in the config menu that is off by default, but you can turn on, so that if you were to talk to a villager, it will add the career next to the villager's name. So in this case, we've got a fisherman, which of course is a farmer profession. The subtype is fisherman. Contrast that to this villager that has the subtype shepherd. This one's also a fisherman, and so forth. We've got a Fletcher here. Now, if you're to turn off the config option to display the career next to the name, if you're to talk to this villager again, you'll notice that the career has now been erased, so this can effectively be turned on and off at will. So the next new feature in version 1.1 involves you improving your reputation in the village. So what you're going to want to do is increase your reputation by trading with the villagers. every time you make a successful trade with a villager, there's a chance that your reputation in the town will increase, and then that villager will offer you more trades. In this case, I've been trading a bit with this butcher, Edo Hill, and so I've unlocked a good number of these. So now, if I were to right-click a blank book on him, he'll produce a book of the town, but the new feature in version 1.1 is that occasionally, a book will have a second page. So now Edo Hill has informed me that a previous civilization built the Temple of Vinria, located approximately 700 meters due north by northwest. So, effectively, if your reputation with the village and with the villager are high enough, there is a chance that the villager will write a second page into the book. Now, I have to say that this is not a random chance. Effectively, what's happening is that this villager has a search radius around him that gets bigger when your reputation increases and gets bigger when the number of trades that villager offers increases. So if a feature exists in that search radius, they'll record it. So that means I should be able to do another book on this person and definitely get that effect a second time, and I have. So it's not random. So it's not like if I spam him with a bunch of books, sometimes he won't record it and sometimes I will. So don't waste a bunch of books trying to unlock this feature. So what this effectively means is that you can discover features because the villagers will tell you about them. Now, the kinds of features that can be reported to you will be dependent on the kind of villager. For example, farmers will tend to tell you where other villages are. Butchers, like Edo Hill, as you can see here, will tell you about other villages or about temples. Librarians and cartographers will tell you about strongholds and mansions. Blacksmiths will tell you about mine shafts. So the fisherman subtype for farmer will actually tell you about ocean monuments if there actually happens to be one close enough. So the chances of that are very small, in the same way that the chances of a cartographer or a librarian identifying a mansion are very small because they're so rare. Now, if you have a nitwit villager, appropriately named Lush, they can actually tell you about any kind of feature. So it turns out that Lush has reported also Vinria, so he's going to continue to report Vinria. That's probably the closest feature to here, honestly. So to explore the last feature of this mod, we need specifically a librarian or cartographer, the guy wearing the white robes. Let's see if I can find him. Hey, there he is. Hey, Zebami, or whatever your name is. So what you'll want to do to unlock this new item is to right-click on one of these completely white-clad villagers with an emerald or an iron ingot or a gold ingot. So let's do that. In this case, I've consumed 4 of the emeralds, and it's produced a codex. Now, doing it with the iron ingot will also consume some of my emeralds, and doing it with the gold ingots will also consume some of the emeralds. So you always have to spend some kind of emerald, but you can substitute some of the emeralds with gold or iron ingots. So it'll produce this new item known as the codex. Now, what this new item, the codex, does is very, very simple. If you're standing inside of any structure, be it a village or a stronghold or an ocean monument, even an end city or a nether fortress, if you have a blank book in your inventory and you right-click the codex, gotta get inside the village, 1 codex and 1 book will be consumed, and it will produce a book describing the location of the feature. Now, the point of the codex wasn't to determine the name in a village. The assumption is that the village will already have a sign generated in it, and you can generate a village book much easier by right-clicking a book on one of the villagers. Great. And it will give you more information in it. The point of the codex is to determine the name of a feature that is not a village, like a stronghold and such. I suppose if you wanted to generate a book that actually has your own name as the author, the codex is a way to do it. But in any case, let's go find that other feature that was discovered by Edo Hill. This temple called Vinria, 700 meters due north by northwest. So let's see. Here's east, just north. North by northwest is about this way, so let's go check it out. And here we are. This is probably the temple that Edo Hill was referring to. So if I get inside the bounding box of the structure and use the codex with a blank book, it will produce a book that describes the structure. Notice that the icon is different. So what we have here is that this is indeed the Vinria that was referred to by Ito Hill. Now, to emphasize the fact that different features can be named, I have entered the Nether and found another fortress, and using the codex, I've produced a Nether Fortress book. So the name of this fortress is Dilius. All of the syllable pieces that are used to generate these names are available in individual config files, and it's a different pool of syllables for different features. For example, the names of nether fortresses will be borrowed heavily from Greek mythology. So if I were to find another fortress, it would have another Greek-ish sounding name, kind of pseudo-Greek. So I used the locate command to identify a mineshaft here, so this should work again. There it is, there's the mineshaft book icon, and the name of this is the Penny Main mineshaft. Even ocean monuments can be named. So if I head into this thing, here, this is called Barathoi. Strange. And I'll remind you that the syllables come from a different pool for every possible feature. To wrap up this video, I thought it would be fun to go investigate a mansion and generate a name for that. So here we are. What kind of name do we have here? There's the icon. And it's Shinvaragosa Terrace. How terrifying. That's it for the video. I hope it was interesting and informative. So I'm gonna leave Mucus and Vidkey and Luva here. And there will be a link to the downloads for all versions of this mod in the description. Bye!